And the Oscar goes to Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Lots of questions this morning surrounding the death of actor Heath Ledger.
Did this role have anything to do with this?
He always used to say to me, "Don't forget your camera." And I was like, "What am I gonna film between here and there?" And he was like, "I don't care, you can film your feet." But we'd watch a lot of our videos back. It was just curious and watching it and like thinking how he could do things different.
You went from, as a 17-year-old, you drove with 69 cents or 96 cents in your pocket all the way from Perth to Sydney?
Yeah, I
did.
did.
Is that true?
Yeah. It wasn't more or less, I think, for work. It was just more for life. You know, I really wanted to get out there and discover myself.
It was literally jumping in that car and planting the foot down and just bolting out. And
running away at all?
Oh no, running too. You know, I've got nothing to run away from in Perth. I love my family, I love my friends, I love the city. It's just there was all this going on outside of that, and I just had to be part of it. I had to go out and learn for myself.
That's how he learned. He never studied anything, really. He was self-taught.
That's right. Evil supervillain.
And therefore there is no need to go to college or an acting school?
Maybe there was a need to, no, I didn't want to.
Why not?
You know, because the one thing that's got me to where I'm sitting is my instincts. I'm impatient. I didn't want to wait 3 years to work. I wanted to just get out there and do it.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you.
The screen test for The Patriot came up with Mel Gibson, who's the biggest Australian movie star.
That was one of his idols. He loved, Mad Max, and it was a huge, huge thing for him.
So this is first day shooting. This is first day on The Patriot for me. I'm looking forward to it. It's been 3 months since I found out I got this job, and finally, after 3 months of sitting around thinking about it, I get to go out there and do it. This is it.
No, I think he's tremendous. He's got what they call the unknown factor, whatever it is that sort of lights up the screen. He's just a very likable guy.
First scene I did with him, it was bad, and I was shaky, and my voice was nervous and all tense, like it is now.
He gets nervous, really nervous about it, which I remember, because when you're younger, you're really you get wound up about it. He's going to be good. He's going to be great. Plenty of talent.
It was a huge production. It was a little terrifying to be in another city with no friends, and you're just sitting there on your own. It's a lonely life.
He called me one day from the set, really upset. He was having a hard time, and he was struggling, just a crisis of confidence. He was probably in his head. He's standing across from his idol, acting with Mel Gibson for a young Aussie kid. It was a lot. He would get caught up in the fear of whether or not he could accomplish what he wanted to do. He kind of almost pulled that of every movie he ever ended up doing.
So you're feeling famous right now?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is how you're supposed to feel.
When you drive around Los Angeles, for example, and you see your face up at a billboard or on the back of a bus, is that weird?
Yeah, it is. It's really weird. It's, I don't know, if anything, it's surreal. I find it funny.
I have so much fun making movies, and I really love what I do.
He was looking always for something that was going to be truly challenging, to try to figure out ways that he could absolutely disappear into a character and almost be unrecognizable. That's what really drove him. I called Heath and I said, this is what's happening. They're putting together the next Batman film, and the Joker's going to be the villain, and is out of interest. There was no pause. It was like, absolutely, I want that. I want to meet with Chris. Can you get me in a room with Chris Nolan?
I met with Heath. He really seemed to relate to what I was talking about. He seemed to understand how this character could be extraordinarily frightening and fresh and different than anything that had been done before. And Heath was just ready to do it. He was ready to do something that big.
I'd already seen this world he'd created in Batman Begins, and so I knew there was an opportunity for a new version of the Joker, and that excited me, and I also knew instantly what to do. I locked myself away for 6 weeks in a room, and I kind of came up with this creep. Walk around like a madman, and finding posture, finding stance. Finding his voice is very important, because when you find the voice, you find the breath within the voice.
Do you want to know how I got these scars? It's like, my daddy was a drinker and a fiend. And he gives me this look, and Man, goosebumps, chills run down me. And he does that little monologue for me.
Voice was so unpredictable, but you never quite knew whether he was going to go high or whether he was going to go low. You never knew what that guy was going to do, and that was what was terrifying about it.
Where is Harvey Dent?
I think the Joker understands Batman, or feels he understands Batman, possibly in a way that Bruce Wayne doesn't entirely understand himself. So he's very vulnerable to the threat that the Joker poses.
I don't want to kill you.
You reach a point where you really don't know what's possible, what's not possible. And I think that makes the Joker become a very, very unpredictable character. I think at times you really do feel he's prepared to do absolutely anything. You're actually concerned the whole city will go down. You're actually concerned that this guy is going to completely destabilize that society.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
He's effectively a monster in the film. He's a very human monster. It tests the characters. It forces them to confront things about themselves. And it tells you something about those characters. It reveals them in sort of new and interesting ways.
So far, he's definitely the most fun I've had with any character. He's out of control. He has no empathy. He's a sociopath, psychotic, mass-murdering clown. And I'm just thoroughly enjoying it.
This is not the origin of Joker. This is the rise of the Joker. I think Heath has done an incredible job in the film. And I think it's an extraordinary piece of acting.
He's remarkable in the movie. I think he's doing something in this movie that is extremely rare, even among the greatest actors.
He immersed himself completely into it. It was a real joy working opposite him and seeing, once he was in his makeup, he was the Joker the whole way through. Once he took it off, he was Heath, and he was great company. But when he was in it, he stayed in it.
And the scariest performances I've ever seen, really.
What was Heath Ledger like to work with?
Heath was always in character. So he would come around and, be talking to himself in the corner, like this. And then we'd watch him, and then he'd start saying his lines. And I would watch him, watch him come around to bed like this. And he caught my hand. We just went through this organic process of developing this scene, which was really nothing. And we walked out, or back to our trailers, and Heath was here, and I was walking, and he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he goes, "That's what acting's all about."
and nothing to do with the circumstances now. I mean, of course, I wish Heath was here talking about this as well.
Probably get the Oscar.
If he was here, he would still be deserving of an award for this.
January 22nd, 2008.
Actor Heath Ledger was found dead today in an apartment here in New York City. He was just 28 years old.
According to police, the 28-year-old actor was discovered naked in his bed with sleeping pills nearby.
He was energetic, he was full of life. I don't know what to say, I can't believe he's dead.
It's just such a loss.
2 weeks after Ledger is found dead, the New York medical examiner confirms Ledger died from a prescription drug overdose.
He's living on his own at this point in New York. As a bachelor, that might sound like it's a lot of fun for a young guy, but for him it was particularly depressing. And he's got a lot of other issues. He's got anxiety, he's got back pain, he's got insomnia, he's dealing with all of this, and there's really this dark reality that settles in around him.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about, after he did pass away, how much effect this character had on him. What do you think about that?
That drives me up a wall, because people want to write the story that this dark character consumed him. That's people's imagination. That's the story they wanted.
You didn't see that. You just saw a dude having fun.
No, this dude had fun. And the truth of the matter is, he passed away when he was doing Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Right.
It wasn't even this movie.
Right.
You know how much longer that was? So, yeah, it's
people just trying to.
Yeah, it's a narrative they want. Yeah.
I'd say I really want to see the movie because I heard Heath Ledger, died for the role, and you got to see the guy's last role. Obviously, there's a huge hype about the movie. Heath Ledger looks amazing, as Joker.
Casting was great, and I thought that Heath Ledger did a masterful job.
The Joker was funny. He lived it up. He definitely did, yeah.
In a year of striking film images, perhaps the most unforgettable was that of a man with his face smeared in clown makeup, gleefully sticking his head out of a speeding car. Heath Ledger has left us an original and enduring legacy.
We'd like to thank the Academy, Warner Brothers, and Christopher Nolan in particular, for allowing Heath the creative license to develop and explore this crazy Joker character.
Heath was such a compassionate and generous soul who added so much excitement and inspiration to our lives. Tonight we are choosing to celebrate and be happy for what he has achieved.
What you had created in the Joker was extraordinarily special and had even talked about being here on this very day. We really wish you were, but we proudly accept this award on behalf of your beautiful Matilda.
And the Golden Globe goes to Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
He would be quietly proud of the effect that his role in The Dark Knight has had on audiences. He will be eternally missed, but he will never be forgotten.
He was seeing the world in a way that the rest of us didn't, and in a way that the rest of us couldn't. And time and convention meant absolutely nothing to him.
This light around him, wherever he went, shone light on people and made their lives better.
Heath Ledger gave one of the best performances, one of the most beautiful performances, not just of any villain, but in my opinion, ever in the history of cinema.
I'm standing here on the shoulders of my favorite actor, Heath Ledger. So thank you and good night.